whatever happened. Not everything's going to go according to the way you think it should. And you have to adjust with that because we live here in this great country. We are not going anywhere. No one's defecting to Canada. No one is leaving our borders. We love our country. And that means we weather the storm together like any family in our country. And y'all, with the eclipse, it means the storms are coming of some kind. And after the storm, sometimes there's refreshing rebuild. And sometimes things that needed to get put away, or things that needed to be destroyed get destroyed. And sometimes things are devastating, but it means that we have a chance to regather. When we talk about that eclipse that happened September 11th, 3 days afterwards, there was another conjunction that proved to be very unifying astrologically. Now, astronomers looking at that beforehand said there's going to be some great unifying thing that happens, and they thought it was going to be pretty fluffy. What happened was 9/11 happened. We were absolutely shocked by the fact that we could be subject to such terror and such strategic terror, and we banded together as a country, and we helped everybody, and we hugged longer, and we spent more time connecting. It was a terrible thing that happened, an incredibly terrible thing that happened that, the likes of, we all remember where we were on the day that it happened. And for my generation of people, maybe born in the 80s or just before, we had not experienced that. We weren't here for JFK's assassination or any of these things. So that was our moment where we will say, I will remember where I was. And what I will say is this: it brought us together as a country. It reignited patriotism. And for a good while, we were nicer people. It was a terrible thing. I wouldn't wish it. I wouldn't want it. I wouldn't hope for it. But when you deal with eclipses, things happen that are cataclysmic that sometimes help mend areas that need mending. So pay attention for that as we're going through this. I don't expect another that situation. I'm not wanting that. I'm just saying that that's what eclipses do, is they shift things, like Vladimir Putin getting into power during a 1999 eclipse. Things shift, and you really just have to ride the wave of what's happening. So that's what's going on with the eclipses. So one of the things that is the underlying thing of why this is happening is because we need trust now. We are just not trusting each other. We're not connecting as people. And I think that you need to understand all of these events that happen that seem so far out of your power and control are happening to get us back into alignment. I was talking to someone recently, and we were talking about our situation politically, and they asked me what I thought. They're super liberal. They love Bernie. And I said, I get Trump now. I get Trump from an astrological perspective. It doesn't mean that I enjoy everything. It means that I get him, because I get that he's here to create change. There have been great leaders we've had, great men and thinkers and men and women that have shifted the perception of society. And in that way, Trump is doing his job. He's doing his job whether you realize it or not. We will be better people. How we get there may not be easy, but we're going to be better people, and we're going to realize what humanity is and what we need. And we may distill some of what he's saying and some of his ideas, which could be great, and maybe do them better. Maybe he'll do them better. That's the opportunity of the eclipse, and that's how I choose to stand in it, as an opportunity. I'm praying that he takes the opportunity, because now, if he could get an astrologer, he has an opportunity to be to make things different. And it may just be him following his plan that makes things different, and it shifts our lives. But now let's get into personal. Now that we know what's happening, this is going to affect us. So Vladimir's involved, not for the reasons we think, not because of all the Russia drama. I'm saying he's literally involved because of the eclipses. Long before Trump was ever president, this eclipse was going to bring Vladimir Putin into the forefront of U.S. politics. This is in his birth chart. It is meant to happen. And here we are, Trump's involved at 1 degree, and our country's involved. So as much as you might not want to talk about the politics, or you think, why is this at such a fever pitch? What's going on that we're all so mad? It's because it literally is the alignment of the stars. So get ready. Here we are. Now, I want to talk about us and how we personally need to hold ourselves in a happy mantra over the next month. So I'm going to go through each of our signs very quickly. For Aries and Aries rising, this is what you need to be thinking about. Like a weed breaking through the concrete, like an unstoppable emotion erupting. Breakthroughs are my birthright. And Aries has Mars with the god of war. Breakthroughs are your birthright. So let them take flight. I let myself evolve without needing to control my growth. without trying to force an outcome, without pushing for a specific result. Breakthroughs require that one part of me pushes up against another. I exist as both the problem and the solution, Aries. Remember that. My job is to find ways to accept my current self and my emerging self. My job is to take friction of both existing within me and use it for fuel for my life. My job is to remember that I am in a constant process of recreation. Taurus and Taurus rising, I claim my home. Home is a big deal for you, Taurus. You're all centered in home. Security is in home. I claim my home. I claim my body. I claim my space. I allow myself to exist. I call myself into this moment, this body, this place, tenderly, forcefully, decidedly. I do not leave myself hanging or floating or floundering around. I build a home out of each act of self-love. I commit. I build home each time I stick to the boundaries that I have set for myself. I build home each time I address myself with kindness. I make a practice of speaking to myself in ways that remind me of the power that I do have. I make a practice of speaking to myself in ways that remind me I always find solutions that I seek. I speak to myself in ways that evokes my agency, no matter what environment I'm in. Taurus, you have this great power to cast spells of self-actualization so that you're not asleep in your own potential. You're not afraid of your own power. And you are reminded of the promise that is deep within you, the promise to awaken through your efforts, through your work, and through the connections that encourage you to heal. Gemini and Gemini rising, this is for our president. I remember that no matter what the issue, it is not worth diminishing my self-worth over. Everything that comes up does so to help me heal the relationship that I have with myself. Very important for Geminis because there is that duality in them. So they are always at war with themselves. Internal conflict a lot with Geminis about the right or wrong thing to do because there is that nature. They are the twins in the zodiac. Everything comes up to help me strengthen my commitment to my healing. Everything that I learn while dealing with what comes up becomes an asset for me to use. This week wants me to understand that conflicts I experience can actually help to reveal the blessings that are in my life. This week offers me a 4-leaf clover so that I remember to look for the assistance inside what I might feel aggravating. This week offers me an incredible gift that I have if I have the good sense to receive it and I take time to enjoy my life and lead effectively. Now that's just a horoscope for all Geminis, but I think it's perfect for our president, especially because of the situations that are upcoming. Cancer and Cancer rising. I defy expectation. I defy the order that I'm expected to follow. I prioritize what is important to me and do it next. I remind myself that self-expression is an integral part of my toolkit. My assets, my resources, my self-worth is bound, wrapped around, interwoven with the ways in which I'm able to take what has trespassed me and turn it into currency. Leo and Leo rising. Happy birthday, Leos. I count up the years, the months, the days, the hours, the minutes, the amount of time, that life that I've spent worrying about how to fit in, wondering how I could be less, wondering how I could be more. Boy, they're preaching this week, this month anyway. I count up all the ways in which I've devalued myself, my gifts, their expression. I count up all the ways in which I have wanted to disconnect myself from my difficulties, my burdens, my baggage. I count to become more conscious of my habits so that I'm aware of the ways in which I'm relating to my life. These moments of doubt, discouragement, or distress are not moments wasted. However, so I do not waste my time feeling bad about what has passed. These moments are valuable lessons to me to remember. They are experiences that can help me understand myself. They are reminders of how easy it is to slip into a state of lack, of want, of thinking that I need anything other than to be who I am. Virgo and Virgo rising. I seek to understand what makes me feel flimsy, floppy, misshapen. I seek to understand what goes on behind the scenes for me when I get twisted, turned around, tied up. I seek to understand what has made me unavailable to me. Have you been unavailable to yourself, Virgo? Have you been helping everyone else in service because that is your calling as a Virgo, that you've forgotten about you? What has gone out of order? What I've allowed to get out of line? I seek to understand my misunderstanding so I can reclaim myself, so that I can teach myself how to rebuild new frames of reference for myself so that I can remember the import of my interior life, that everything that goes on inside me is a direct correlation with all that occurs outside of me. I am responsible for understanding how I relate to it, how it creates the context that I exist inside of. Libra and Libra rising. I use the new moon that just came and remember that I don't owe anyone anything, not my healing, not my happiness, not my redemption story. I was not here to be a source of entertainment or inspiration for anyone. Libra struggle with this because they are literally the sign of beauty. So they love art, they love nice things and entertainment, and they can sometimes forget that they are here to expand consciousness through that, and they can think that it's all about that. Kim Kardashian is a Libra, so if you understand that, she's made her money on how she looks, appears, and what her lifestyle is. She can sometimes forget to nurture her internal self. So that's something to understand. Life is too complicated as a Libra to be any one thing for any one person. I don't have to answer to anyone else. We are all the answer, each of us holding an important piece of the puzzle. Scorpio and Scorpio rising. I am learning how to lead. I'm learning how to develop myself and find ways forward. I'm learning how to develop the courage necessary to take opportunities that come my way. This new moon reminds me about the power that I have in my career, Scorpio. You guys are the most powerful sign in the zodiac. You're the sign that anybody that wants to go on a diet, they need a Scorpio buddy, because that Scorpio keeps them on the straight and narrow. It reminds me about the ways in which I'm situated in the world. I can't control the events of my work, but I can set myself up so that when opportunities roll my way, and the eclipse will bring some opportunities, I am ready to move at their pace. Sagittarius and Sagittarius rising. I use Sunday's new moon to get clear about my motives, to make sure that my arrows are pointed in the direction of my target, to make sure that I'm taking actions to support my beliefs. I aim to be an effective leader, leading by example, leading by refusing to compromise my integrity, leading by expeditions that require a rigorous honesty from myself and anyone else on the journey with me. I remind myself of the help I have along the way, especially in this month. A myriad of miracles occur when I remember how interconnected my life already is. I am already in contact with what can assist me in my journey. I affirm that by helping others when and where I can, I practice giving what I most need. Capricorn and Capricorn rising. No matter what my partners are going through, I stay centered. Oh, Capricorn, you guys are the grounders of the zodiac. That earth sign, so steady. I remind myself not to get too swept up in another person's storm. I remember that I can't be much use to anyone if I don't learn how to return to myself again and again and again. This new moon initiates me into a month-long cycle of understanding the ways in which I can join forces with others. My collaborations are cauldrons of creative possibilities at the moment. We've all got issues when it comes to sharing. But this month, I make right any wrongs that I can. I show up for myself, and I show up as equal in all my partnerships. Aquarius, I pay special attention to what I'm learning through my partners. I pay special attention to what those closest to me are going through. I pay special attention to the ways in which I'm able to be clear, fair, and forthright when asking for what I need. Pisces and Pisces rising. Feeling rooted. Pisces, you're a water sign. You need that grounding. Feeling rooted helps me to feel a sense of purpose. This week brings to me people, family, and friends that help me stay connected to my purpose. Good feelings help me reset my system. Good feelings help me to feel ready. Sunday's new moon wants me to remember how to be a boss. I initiate routines that whip me into shape. I recommit to completing the tasks that keep me on course. I reaffirm the fact that no one is coming to do my work for me. So I'm here to save myself. My mental health will thank me for it. My calendar will thank me. The emphasis is on me, little by little. I'm so glad that we got a chance to talk this week. This has been a fun show. I'm such a nerd. I could do 3 hours on this stuff and really get into the layers of the eclipse and what it means for us. But I'm glad I got to share what I did. I'm so grateful. I want you to join me next week. So many more things to talk about, so many more buttons to push, and things to really parse out together. I'm happy you joined me this week. Come back next week as we continue to evolve together.